We came to Albania 2 years ago, and initially we tried to send our child to an Albanian preschool. She had been in an English preschool for a year before, and we found that the change was very marked. So in England it was very self-directed, learning through play, learning through experience, very similar to what the Tirana English School offers. And then she went into a system in the Albanian system that was very regimented, and really the children were told what to do and weren't really given any freedom to think outside of the box or to be analytical or emotional in any way.
And then we're going to go rock climbing? Okay, remember to ask your mom.
I'm not going to Los Angeles.
Los Angeles? I'm not going there either.
My name is Carol Song, and I've been teaching in a school district in Los Angeles for 10 years, and I teach 7th and 8th grade science. And I've been involved with mentoring teachers and training teachers to help build capacity. What I've realized, being here this year, in all these different activities that they're doing, for example, sensory play with the ice, or reading a book, or like whatever activities that they're doing, like playing in the rice bin, there's so many opportunities throughout the day and throughout all these activities where we can help them acquire these pro-social skills. So, hey, let's, of course, when you're 4 or 5 years old, you're gonna wanna just, not share, like take, and all these like typical things, but giving them opportunities to, hey, can we have so-and-so have a turn?
Maybe you can start this time.
So when David and I moved to Albania along with our 2 daughters 3.5 years ago, our daughters were 2 and 4 years old, and right away we were looking for a preschool for them. And having looked around both at Albanian schools and some of the international schools, we felt we were looking for something more. And our experience in Los Angeles had been that we were part of a co-op where the parents were involved with the school, whether be it coming to prepare a snack for the children, or coming to read a book, or sharing a family album with them. The parents were always around, and it was a wonderful experience for the children, because the parents are their first teachers, and they learn so much more when the parents are involved with their learning. So in Albania, we wanted something like that, where the parents are involved, they love to come, and the school welcomes that. We did not find that here, and that's the reason we started this journey and decided to open our own school for our children. And they were our first 2 students, along with 2 others.
I'm making tortillas. And why am I making tortillas? Because you can't buy taco tortillas here in Albania. They have tortillas for burritos. And once I get the dough started, the kids are gonna come and help me make it. So last time we did it was a lot of fun. You see these kids who usually don't eat vegetables, they went up for seconds and thirds and started to pile everything on there. So that was a lot of fun. So those are the kind of things we want to see. So this is actually a classroom, even though it's a kitchen, it's still a classroom. And I can get 4 kids here to help prepare lunch. So what we've been trying is every day we have what we call kitchen helpers, to just get a few kids in here. And they love it. They love to serve each other. They love to, the food just tastes better, I think, when they start working on it themselves. And actually, you should see their faces when they give the food to each other. I mean, they take a really sense of pride that they're doing something.
Hey, I was here.
Tell me, hey, Alex and Ely, you gotta look at me. Everybody look at me real quick. Look at Mr. David. Hey, all eyes on me. Okay, the 2 most important rules in the kitchen are, number 1, Ely.
No no touching anything. Don't.
Safety first. Can we all say safety first?
Safety first.
Okay, very good. And what is the second thing?
Be clean.
Be clean. Why do we need to be clean?
So we don't make the food dirty.
And how can we make the food dirty?
By I food in it.
No. Do we put boogers in the food?
No.
Should we sneeze in the food? Achoo!
No.
Do you like others to eat your boogers?
No.
No. And what happens if the food lands on the floor?
It will have germs on it.
Germs. And what should we do? We should throw it away, right? So should we be very careful?
Yes.
Okay. And safety means you can only touch certain things, right? Can we touch this?
Yes.
Can we touch the black part?
No.
Why? Why not? It's very good.
It's hot.
High five. Okay, everybody put your hands up. Hands up. All right. Stand up. I'm going to show you the first thing we're going to make.
Yeah, I got the feel when we were first looking at schools when they were about 2.5. A bunch of schools came and did a presentation, and everybody's talking about the teachers, the methodology, and when David and his wife came, just the passion that they brought and the approach that they were using, it just struck me. I said, my kids are young. Building in fun is really important, and they added that to it. So that's what caught me, and it's continued. I think the kids have fun here, but at the same time they're learning lots of different things, and they come home and they'll surprise me with saying something. It's like, well, where'd you get that? And so they're enjoying it, and they're picking stuff up.
Each and every day.
Yeah, I think particularly for Albania, one of the hardest things is that children are encouraged from a very early age to be very academic, and that system is there throughout preschool, and that's quite a pressure that's put on children quite early. And I think that that's something that I found as a real challenge. Also, there isn't an emphasis on play being important. Play is something that children do, but actually they're not encouraged that that's something special and something that should be a part of their day all the time. It's almost something that's done if there's spare time, rather than an integral part of what they do and how they learn.
I think probably the biggest challenge is just if something happens, if there's an accident, if there's an emergency. My understanding of the immediate access to care is not that good. Now we work with the U.S. Embassy under that, so it's that helps. But that's probably the thing that scares me the most. So.
The first thing is that there aren't too many opportunities for kids to entertain themselves. I mean, you have to take them out of the city in order to find some decent place where they can see the nature, where they can run around, and when they can play freely. Everything in the city is like just totally urban, and you have only these little places. Sometimes there are restaurants or bars that they have just a backyard, and they can have a few. They can have a few square meters of when they put things there that kids can play. This is the first. The second is education. I mean, you don't feel it at the beginning, but then comes a moment when you realize that the education system is not the best that you can hope for. Especially when it comes to elementary schools. The quality of education is not good, the infrastructure of education is not good, especially there are overcrowded places. We have private education which offers better infrastructure and better conditions, but still the quality of teaching and quality of education is almost the same. There are a few international schools, there are a few special schools for the kids of this age. So yeah, these two main things, I mean, lack of entertainment opportunities.
Yeah, even the private schools that are here, international school, they are very, they cost a lot, so they are not everyone can afford them.
the way to propel education forward isn't so much of, there's so many different kind of methodologies. It's not a way. It's still people to people. And I feel the best thing we're doing in this country is actually just forming communities. You know, I had the realization one day that we're actually not a preschool. We're a community builder. We're building communities of people who care about these things, who love books, who love literature, who care for pro-social skills, who allow their children to learn to fail and get back up again.
I think from the moment we visited the website, and certainly the moment we walked through the doors, we knew that this would be a wonderful second home for our children. There is a thirst for knowledge here. There is a love of learning, and more than knowing any specific thing, we wanted our children to know that learning and reading and singing and growing and playing with friends, that school was a good place to be, a fun place to go to, and they've certainly found that here.
Children learn to explore. So if you make it actually fun for them, they learn by themselves. Instead, we put them before the table and say, now you're gonna read that. They get a joy for playing, and they get a joy for learning. And so they try to do even more without them telling. So it's like a win-win thing. So we have them busy, they have joy, and they learn something.
Children like to play. Yes, especially this age, you know, they like a lot to play. So if we use the playtime for them to learn as well, it's like that way, you know, they play and learn. So we have the love for learning in them. Every child is talented, you know, but that way is you can get this out of every child, you know, where is he talented at, you know.
For me as an educator, you know, I teach middle school, and I like to do Socratic seminars a lot about, you know, ethical issues in science a lot. But even in the way we help children understand things at this grade level or at this age level, you know, we can help them just by asking them questions. So why do you think this happens? Instead of like directly giving them the answer, because, well, then there's the end of the lesson because I just got the answer from the teacher, you know. But asking them, well, why do you think this happens? And how do you think that happens? And having them make observations, and then once they get some data, right, from observations, they can say, oh, well, maybe it's because of this. Well, why do you think that way? You know, helping them to process their thinking. We have to learn how to be patient. And I know you can be very patient because I've seen it before. And you just say, okay, I will wait. And I really like that. Oh, sometimes I feel like that too. But then I think, hey, I could always have what I want right away, right? And if you wait, sometimes it's like you feel better because you waited, and then what you get at the end, because you waited so long, it feels more precious to you. So think about it. Okay.
Education is a generational thing. I feel we will somehow contribute maybe just a little bit to Albania in a positive way. And we both love Albania. That's why we're here. And at the end of the day, we would like to see the people of Albania and the country go forward. And this is, I feel, our way of contributing to that.
Yeah.